What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I'm trying a pretty unique team here in the Great League. It's going to be Walrein, Beedrill, and Drapion. It's by no means the top meta picks, the top meta team, but I just really wanted to give it a try and see if I can get some positive sets. We do have wins and losses today, so let's see what this team is capable of. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Walrein on the lead versus Registeel. So, this is kind of a tough lead matchup, if I'm being honest. Registeel does pretty well against this whole team, and I'm pretty much forced to stay into this matchup with my Walrein here. So I'm going to be forced to shield as well, as it is going to be the Zap Cannon, so praying for no debuff, and we get no debuff there. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake after overloading a bit, hoping they think maybe I'm going to go for the Icicle Spear, and it worked! I landed the Earthquake, which is beautiful, and now I'm in a situation where I might just need to give up 2 shields on Walrein and keep it alive, because it is definitely looking to be potentially a very strong pick against their backline. So I'm going to go ahead and give up 2 shields. This is a tough call, especially without seeing any other Pokemon, but it was apparently a great call, as they swap in a Shadow Gliscor right here. So what I honestly need to do is, if they safe swap, think about it, if they safe swap a Shadow Gliscor into my Walrein, that means there's something else weaker in the back to my Walrein. So I'm guessing it's going to be maybe something like Altaria or Dragonite. Boom! I have to sacrifice my Drapion and catch that Earthquake, and now I need to come back in with Walrein and farm down. And this is the reason why I sack swapped my Drapion, is because the Gliscor here cannot get to 2 Earthquakes with the amount of time I have to farm down. So I'm going to be able to Powder Snow down. Let's see what they have in the back. It is going to be... Let's find out. It's going to be Altaria. So I'm going to go ahead, and it makes sense. I mean, imagine safe swapping a Gliscor into a Walrein. That's a tough call, but it paid off for me. Now I'm anticipating them swapping, which they do. So I'm going to go ahead and farm down, and this is going to be a good game, as I have an Icicle Spear ready to go, and this does so much super effective damage. Now I will need to throw 2 in order to take out the Altaria, so we get there just in time with 1 HP in a dream. But my Walrein, who knew? Everyone thought it wasn't meta. It is back. It just did a 3. It just swept the whole team. I literally used Drapion to catch a charge move, and Walrein killed or deleted everything else. Good game. Alright, we got Alolan Ninetales here on the lead. I'm going to go ahead and swap into Drapion. It is a Charm Alolan Ninetales, and we draw out the Pancake Stunfisk here, which is actually kind of good. It's a good situation for us, because I can do super effective damage with Aqua Tail. I can get it low and come in and farm down with Walrein, and hope for my Beedrill to sweep. So Mud Bomb here, yes, it does do super effective damage, but they cannot farm me down because they are running Thunder Shock as the fast move instead of Mud Shot. So I'm going to be able to get to another Aqua Tail, which is now going to be forcing them to throw the next charge move, which is fine. My Walrein now is in a good position where I can come in, fully farm down. I don't need to give up a shield as well, because I'm anticipating Beedrill being the sweeper here. So I'm going to go ahead and just fully farm down and no shield this discharge. It is dangerous, it is risky, but if I can get myself shield advantage with my Beedrill, I might just be able to sweep, because now I have an Earthquake ready to go for the Alolan Ninetales. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that Earthquake, and I believe Ninetales came in here. Let's see what came in. No, it was Defense Form Deoxys, so now I swap into the Beedrill, and the hardest hitting charge move left in the game is going to be a Rock Slide or a Psycho Boost. So I will give up a shield here against Defense Form Deoxys. It was the Psycho Boost, and now we see the Charm Alolan Ninetales come in, and I'm going to go ahead and basically put a lot of pressure on shields now, and also commit to the farm down here. So I do get a Drill Run off. I'm going to go ahead and go for another one. Again, putting a lot of pressure on them to shield, because if they don't, I'm just going to be able to take out the Defense Form Deoxys on the back end. And now I have to give up a shield myself, but this is a beautiful position for me. Defense Form Deoxys is basically out of energy. I can farm down with Poison Jab, and then I can go for a Drill Run or Sludge Bomb here. It doesn't matter. Both are going to do neutral damage, and both are going to KO. Yes, Sludge Bomb would be the better call in terms of damage output, but it ultimately didn't matter. Both KO. So, good game right there. All right, moving into the next one, we have Walrein on the lead versus Lantern. All right, buckle up. This is going to be a tough one. We got to swap out right away into Drapion, and let's see what they decide to do. They're deciding to stay in, which means they're questionable with what to bring in the back, which means there are Pokemon potentially back there that Drapion can handle, and it is going to be a Noctowl. So they stored a lot of energy on the Lantern right there. So if it's Noctowl in the back, I'm hoping there's also going to be something like a Trevenant potentially, or a Medicham potentially. Granted, I think Medicham might have swapped in right away, but it would make sense if there was a Trevenant in the back, because that definitely wouldn't have come into a Drapion. But this is a position now for my Walrein to come in and farm down the Noctowl and have a lot of energy potentially on the back end here. So they will farm me down with Wing Attack. That's okay. We drew out that Noctowl, right? The whole play behind this, give Beedrill some room to sweep with a Walrein lead. So we soak that Shadow Ball. That's fine. We're going to Powder Snow down. Now, this is the tough position that I'm in. There is a Lantern here, and this Lantern has loaded energy. So I'm forced to basically shield this Thunderbolt. I'm also forced to go for Earthquake. Or, not Earthquake. I have to build up to Earthquake, which allows them to get more energy, and throw an Icicle Spear here. Now, we do get a shield, which is good. We're going to go ahead and swap into Beedrill, and this is the critical game decision right here. I decide to shield, thinking this might be the hardest hitting move left in the game, but it was a Surf. I could have let that go through. I'm kicking myself. I could have let that go through, because knowing that, you know what, maybe there is something harder in the back. Maybe there's a Shadow Ball on Trevenant, or in this case, a Rock Slide on Galarian Stunfisk. I need to save that shield for it in order to potentially win. So that was a missed call on my end, but ultimately let's see if we can still win this. We're going to go ahead and go for Drill Run here, but this is a good play for my opponent, as they're going to decide to no shield it. Boom, down goes Galarian Stunfisk, but now they come in with Lantern and farm down with Spark, and obviously Thunderbolt is going to KO me. So good play by the opponent. They did a great job banking energy, and I think my mistake there was shielding the Surf or the Thunderbolt in fear that that was the hardest hitting move left in the game, because they were so hesitant to come in, right? All right, we got Altaria here on the lead. So very positive lead for us. Let's see what we can do. They bring in an Azumarill, and this is classic. Azumarill safe swap is something you love to see as a Beedrill player, because now with Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb, you can put in a lot of work and a lot of damage into the Azumarill. Now, they didn't build up to Hydro Pump, so this is either Ice Beam or Play Rough, so we can let it go. It is going to be Play Rough. So now we can farm down with Poison Jab. And this is what's also cool about Beedrill, is the neutral damage it has against a lot of flyers. Since Skarmory is really not in the meta anymore, we typically see more Charizards, Altarias, and Noctowls as the flyers, which means we can do neutral damage with Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb. So we're going to go ahead and go for that Sludge Bomb right here, really chunk down the Altaria. They do get a good farm down on us, but that energy isn't going to do a lot into this Walrein. We can fully Powder Snow down. It's all about what is in the back, and let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be Registeel. Okay. This is now another tough situation. Just like the lead in Game 1, Registeel is something that is very tough to dance around. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake, get that guaranteed shield, or just land it. And now I got to bring Drapion into this matchup, and I need to start giving up shields as well and pray that they don't debuff me. Nope, they got the attack debuff. So this is now a very frustrating and tough situation, but Walrein could potentially still bring this around for me. There's an Altaria in the back that's low, doesn't have any energy, doesn't have any shields, and we could potentially farm that down. So let's see how we're going to play this out. We're going to go ahead and shield again. It is going to be another Zap Cannon, no debuff on that one. Switch Clock is coming back up, so I need to anticipate them swapping here at some point. And remember, their Switch Clock is not in tune with mine. Their Switch Clock should be up right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for another Crunch. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for them to swap to try to catch the charge move, because ultimately that's their play. We do get a defense drop right there. And the charge move now coming through is actually not going to KO us. It's going to be a Zap Cannon, and we can survive. So let's see if they try to swap. They don't. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw this Crunch, and then I'm going to swap out right away into my Walrein to Powder Snow down, and then the Altaria is going to go down. So obviously, I was waiting for them to try to catch the charge move, but ultimately, it never came. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, moving into the next one. So Registeel, I think had my opponent made a good catch there, that would have been a different game, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't time that catch, and that's okay. We got Defense Form Deoxys here on the lead, so we're going to go ahead and swap into Drapion. Defense Form Deoxys is a very tough Pokemon for our team to take down. We do have that neutral damage to apply to it, but now they swap into a Guzzlord, and this is like worst case scenario. Absolute worst case scenario looking at the typing here. This is Dragon Dark. That means Aqua Tail and Crunch are resisted. I'm not going to be able to pressure anything. I'm not going to get an advantage in any way here with Drapion. I'm not going to be able to get a shield. I'm not going to be able to take out the Guzzlord. They farm me down. This is not looking good. And if they had Defense Form Deoxys and Guzzlord, I wouldn't be surprised if they have another Dark-type Pokemon back there, that being potentially Umbreon, Mandibuzz, or Scrafty. So, this is looking very, very tough, and I have to commit to the full farm down with Powder Snow, and I also have to no-shield here. I have to pray that my Beedrill can sweep. So that's what we got to do. We're going to see the Defense Form Deoxys come in, and it's not going to throw energy as well. It's going to commit to the farm down, so I have to swap out right away, and this Defense Form Deoxys has energy as well, which makes this situation very, very tough because you're guaranteed to get hit by super effective damage. Defense Form Deoxys only has access to 3 charge moves: Thunderbolt, Rock Slide, and Psycho Boost. 2 of those do super effective damage, so I'm forced to double shield. And it's an Umbreon in the back! Oh man, talk about hard counter city. Now, Umbreon isn't initially like a hard counter to Beedrill, but it's a hard counter when it has 2-0 shields. So there's really not a lot I can do here. It's just a good game to my opponent. They had the checks and balances against my whole team. If you think about it, Defense Form Deoxys lead into Walrein with Psycho Boost, so that means a Core breaks against Beedrill, and a Guzzlord into my Drapion, which I can't do any damage to. So sometimes that happens, and that's why I said at the beginning of this video, we'll see what we can do with this team. Every team is going to have wins, every team is going to have losses, but it's a matter of what potential losses can you flip around, like we've shown today with like Registeel leads or Alola Ninetale leads. We're able to kind of come back from that, which I think is really cool and really fun, but ultimately the Guzzlord team here took me down, and that is going to be a good battle. Alright, moving to the next one. We have Walrein on the lead versus Chestnut. Okay, so this is something we can work with here. We've got super effective damage with Powder Snow and Icicle Spear, so we're going to go ahead and throw it, and they CMP tie with us, which means this is superpower, which also means we are forcing a shield on the back end, and they cannot stay into this matchup because Powder Snow is going to be doing too much damage. They're going to be forced to swap out. So let's see what they swap out to. It's going to be a Frostlass, so we're going to go ahead and come in with Drapion right away, and we're also going to no shield right here. This is a tough call. Avalanche does hurt, but we can survive, and we can go for double crunch. Now, if they decide to let this go through, I might go for an Aqua Tail, depending. Let's see how much damage this does. Okay, cool. I'm free to go for Aqua Tail now to get a shield from my opponent. If they want a shield, by all means, I'll come back in with Walrein and farm down. So we get Switch back, and they're going to go ahead and bring in Chestnut. And this is a very critical decision, and a lot of you watching know what I'm going to do right here. You bring in Beedrill. You don't... We resist everything on Chestnut. We bring in Beedrill because we know this is a very, very, very positive matchup. And there is a Charizard in the back, which is beautiful. We have now created ourselves a win condition. Icicle Spear is going to be forcing that final shield here from Shadow Charizard because of how much neutral damage it can do. And I can safely no shield. Beedrill is not going to take any damage from Chestnut. Beedrill almost has a Drill Run, which with a Shadow Charizard, it's going to do enough damage. So we no-shield everything here. They're forced to throw back-to-back Dragon Claws, and now Beedrill can come in and load up, go for the Drill Run. Yes, it is yes, Charizard's a flying type. I get it, but boom, see ya. And now we are sitting in a very good position where I can safely shield this charge move and then farm down with Poison Jab, because it is doing super effective damage. And as you guys are going to see, this charge move right here is not going to be enough to KO. Our typings resist this, and this is beautiful as superpower, not enough. So, good game, very well played. And ultimately, that game came down to the decision of bringing in Beedrill into Chestnut. It was a much better matchup. All right, moving to the next one. We have Empoleon on the lead. So, This is somewhat similar to the Registeel, where I have to go for Earthquakes, but in this case, I get to one-shot with Earthquake, and they cannot one-shot me with their Drill Peck here. So I'm actually in a very good position. It's a lot better of a matchup than the Registeel. So I'm going to go ahead and go straight for Earthquake right away. We're not messing around. We do get a shield. And now we're going to look to go for another one. But they decide to swap out into Wigglytuff and Charmers. Are Beedrill's favorite thing to have for breakfast, as we do so much damage. I'm going to go ahead and go for Drill Run here because the Wigglytuff was getting close to that charge move. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it. I have another Drill Run ready to go, which is going to be getting the final shield from Empoleon because it's going to one-shot. It's a Drill Run, and they decide to let it go. Last Pokemon is a Lonely Ninetales, so that's a good game. I got Drapion in the back, but good game. Just wanted to wrap it up there with a the Beedrill into double Charmer team sweep. So that is going to be a good game. Again, this team, fun to use, spicy, unique, wins and losses. So it was honestly pretty fun. And there was some games where it was like really tough to come back from, but ultimately our team reads and everything paid off very well. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.